Ethan's eyes widened as he caught sight of the tiny, trembling creature hiding amidst the rubble of the crashed spacecraft. He had never seen anything like it before, a being so small, yet so delicate and fragile. Celia's large, luminous eyes darted around nervously, her diminutive body poised to flee at the slightest provocation. Ethan knew he should be cautious, perhaps even wary of this strange, alien intruder. But something about the tiny girl's vulnerability tugged at his heartstrings, and the young human boy found himself filled with a protective instinct. Slowly, Ethan approached the alien girl, his movements deliberate and non-threatening. "Hey there," he said softly, kneeling down to get a better look at the trembling creature. "I'm not going to hurt you. I promise." Celia froze, her entire body tensing as the towering human loomed over her. She had heard tales of the giants who inhabited this world, stories that described them as savage, uncaring beasts that would devour any foreign life form they encountered. Now, faced with one of these massive creatures, the alien girl's fear threatened to overwhelm her. Yet, as Ethan's gentle tone reached her ears, Celia couldn't help but sense a genuine warmth and curiosity in his demeanor. Tentatively, she lifted her gaze, locking eyes with the human boy. What she saw there surprised her. There was no malice, no predatory intent. Instead, Ethan's expression was one of wonder and fascination. Sensing the girl's unease, Ethan offered her a warm smile. "My name is Ethan." "What's your name?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Celia hesitated, weighing the risks of revealing her identity to this human. But something about Ethan's gentle nature compelled her to trust him, if only a little. "Celia," she replied, her voice barely audible. Ethan's smile widened, and he nodded. "It's nice to meet you, Celia. I've never seen someone like you before. Are you hurt?" Celia shook her head, her eyes darting around nervously as she scanned the surrounding area for any signs of danger. I crashed. I was trying to escape, but I don't know where I am." Ethan's brow furrowed with concern. "You crashed? Are there others with you?" He glanced back towards the twisted, smoldering wreckage of the spacecraft, his mind racing with unanswered questions. Celia's eyes welled with tears as she shook her head. "No, I was alone. I don't know what happened, but—" Ethan's heart sank as he watched the tiny alien girl's distress. Reaching out slowly, he gently placed a hand near Celia, offering her a safe haven. "It's okay, Celia. You're safe now. I'll help you." Celia flinched at the human's touch, but as Ethan's words registered, she felt a glimmer of hope ignite within her. These giants were not the savage beasts she had been told about, at least not this one. Perhaps, just perhaps, she had found an unlikely ally in this strange new world. Cautiously, Celia inched closer to Ethan's outstretched hand, her delicate fingers brushing against his callous skin. The warmth and gentleness of his touch surprised her, and for the first time since her crash landing, Celia felt a flicker of reassurance. Ethan held his breath, scarcely daring to move as the tiny alien girl explored his hand. He could see the fear and uncertainty in her eyes, but also a growing sense of trust. Slowly, he curled his fingers, creating a protective barrier around the diminutive Celia, intent on shielding her from any further harm. "Don't worry, Celia," he whispered, his gaze unwavering. "I'll take care of you. You're not alone anymore." As Celia looked up into Ethan's earnest eyes, she felt her heart race with a mixture of trepidation and hope. This human boy, this giant, had shown her a kindness she never could have anticipated. And in that moment, Celia began to wonder if her preconceptions about these towering beings might have been horribly, terribly wrong. Over the next few days, Ethan and Celia forged an unlikely bond. Despite the vast physical and cultural differences between them, the young human boy and the diminutive alien girl found a way to communicate and connect. Ethan spent hours sitting with Celia, patiently coaxing her out of her hiding place and introducing her to the wonders of the human colony. He showed her the bustling marketplace, the towering spires of the settlement's central hub, and the lush, verdant fields that surrounded the outskirts. Celia, in turn, marveled at the ingenuity and resilience of these giants. She watched in awe as the humans worked together to cultivate crops, maintain their complex infrastructure, and protect their young. The tiny alien girl, who had once trembled at the mere sight of a human, now found herself captivated by their ways. As Celia's trust in Ethan grew, she slowly began to open up, sharing glimpses of her own world and her perilous journey to this distant planet. Ethan listened intently, his eyes widening as he learned about the advanced technology and the complex societal structures of Celia's home. "So you're saying your people can travel between the stars?" Ethan asked, his voice tinged with wonder. "And you have machines that can do all sorts of amazing things." Celia nodded, her diminutive fingers tracing intricate patterns in the dirt. "Yes, but I don't know how I ended up here. My ship, she shook her head, her expression clouded with uncertainty. Ethan reached out and gently placed his hand near Celia, offering her a comforting presence. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe here. I won't let anything happen to you." Celia glanced up at the human boy, her large eyes reflecting a mixture of gratitude and trepidation. "But what about the others? What if they find me?" Ethan's brow furrowed with concern. "Others? You mean more of your people?" Celia shook her head rapidly, her entire body trembling. "No, not my people. The ones who chased me. They're dangerous, Ethan. I have to hide or they'll." Ethan's eyes widened as he heard the sheer terror in Celia's voice. "Celia, what are you talking about? Who's chasing you?" Before Celia could respond, a sudden commotion near the colony's outer perimeter caught their attention. Ethan tensed, his protective instincts kicking in as he shielded the diminutive alien girl with his body. "Stay here," Ethan whispered, his gaze scanning the area for any sign of danger. "I'll go see what's happening." Celia clutched at Ethan's sleeve, her eyes wide with fear. "No, Ethan, you can't go out there. They'll find me, and then." Ethan gently pried Celia's fingers from his sleeve, offering her a reassuring smile. "Don't worry, Celia. I'll be right back. I promise." With that, Ethan rose to his feet and hurried towards the commotion, leaving the trembling alien girl alone and vulnerable. Celia watched him go, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew she should heed her own warnings, but the thought of Ethan facing whatever danger lurked outside filled her with a sense of dread. Biting her lip, Celia steeled her resolve and followed after the human boy, her diminutive form darting through the shadows. She had to make sure Ethan was safe, even if it meant risking her own well-being. As Celia drew closer to the commotion, she could hear the distant sounds of shouting and the whine of energy weapons. Her breath caught in her throat, and she quickened her pace, determined to reach Ethan before it was too late. But what she found when she reached the colony's edge left her heart racing with a mixture of relief and newfound terror. Ethan stood before her, unharmed, but the scene unfolding around him was one of pure chaos. Celia's pursuers had finally caught up with her, and they were not alone. A swarm of alien invaders had descended upon the human colony, their deadly weapons trained on the hapless colonists. And in the midst of it all, Ethan stood firm, his protective instincts ignited as he positioned himself between the invaders and the trembling alien girl he had sworn to shield. Celia's eyes widened in horror as she witnessed the chaos unfolding around her. The human colony, once a tranquil oasis, had been transformed into a battlefield, with the giants she had once feared now fighting to defend their home and their diminutive guest. Ethan stood firm, his expression a mix of determination and fear, as he shielded Celia from the invading aliens. The diminutive girl could see the anxiety in his eyes, but beneath it, a fierce protectiveness that left her in awe. As the invaders advanced, Ethan raised his voice, calling out to the other colonists. "Everyone, get to safety. Protect the civilians." The humans sprung into action, their initial shock quickly giving way to resolute action. Celia watched in amazement as the giants rallied, their movements coordinated and efficient, their weaponry precise and devastating. Amidst the chaos, Celia found herself torn between two impulses, the desire to flee and the need to help. She had come to this world in search of a safe haven, only to find herself at the center of a violent confrontation. Yet as she observed the unwavering courage and selflessness of the humans, something inside her shifted. Steeling her resolve, Celia darted forward, weaving between the colliding forces. Ethan's eyes widened in alarm as he caught sight of the diminutive alien girl in the line of fire. "Celia, no, get to safety." But Celia refused to heed his warning. Instead, she focused her mind, tapping into the advanced technological knowledge she had acquired on her home world. Closing her eyes, she extended her hands, her tiny fingers tracing a series of intricate patterns in the air. Suddenly, a shimmering energy field sprang to life, encasing the human colonists in a protective barrier. The invading aliens' weapons bounced harmlessly off the barrier, their furious cries echoing across the battlefield. Ethan stared in awe, his mouth agape, as he witnessed Celia's incredible display of power. How are you doing that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Celia's eyes remained fixed on the shimmering energy field, her brow furrowed with concentration. "I'm using my people's technology to shield you," she replied, her tone strained with effort. "But I can't hold it for long. You need to find a way to stop them." Ethan nodded, his mind racing as he surveyed the chaos around them. The other colonists had taken cover behind Celia's barrier, but the invaders were already searching for a way to break through. They needed a plan, and fast. Suddenly, Ethan's eyes lit up with an idea. "Celia, can you direct your force field towards the invaders? If we can trap them, we might be able to disable their weapons." Celia's gaze shifted, her eyes narrowing in concentration as she redirected the shimmering energy field, enveloping the bewildered alien invaders. The invaders, caught off guard by the unexpected maneuver, struggled to retaliate, their weapons rendered useless against the powerful barrier. "Now," Ethan shouted, rallying the other colonists. "Hit them with everything you've got." The humans sprang into action, their weapons blazing as they unleashed a barrage of fire upon the trapped invaders. Celia watched in awe as the giants fought with a ferocity she had never imagined, their determination to protect their home and their newfound friend fueling their every move. As the battle raged on, Celia felt her strength beginning to wane. The effort of maintaining the energy field was taking its toll, and she knew she couldn't keep it up much longer. But just as she felt her resolve faltering, a familiar voice reached her ears. "Celia, hold on, we've got your back." Turning, Celia saw Ethan, his face etched with a fierce determination, charging towards her. In his hands, he carried a device that glowed with an otherworldly energy, its power surging through the barrier and reinforcing Celia's diminishing strength. With renewed vigor, Celia poured her remaining energy into the field, trapping the invaders in an impenetrable prison. The humans, emboldened by this unexpected turn of events, redoubled their efforts, overwhelming the trapped aliens with a barrage of devastating attacks. As the last of the invaders fell, a deafening cheer rose up from the human colonists. Celia, her energy spent, felt a wave of relief wash over her. She had not only survived the ordeal, but had played a crucial role in the defense of this remarkable species she had once feared. Ethan, his face beaming with pride, rushed to Celia's side, gently scooping her up in his hands. "You did it, Celia," he exclaimed, his voice filled with awe. "You saved us all." Celia looked up at the human boy, her eyes shining with a newfound respect and admiration. In that moment, she knew that her preconceptions about these giants had been shattered, and that she had found a home among them, a place where she truly belonged. As the dust settled and the adrenaline began to fade, the human colonists gathered around Celia and Ethan, their expressions a mix of wonder, gratitude, and lingering disbelief. Celia, still cradled in Ethan's gentle hands, found herself the center of attention, with the towering giants gazing down at her with a newfound respect. She had witnessed their ferocity in battle, their unwavering determination to protect their home, and now she found herself the recipient of their admiration. That was incredible. One of the colonists exclaimed, his eyes wide with amazement. "Where did you learn to do that?" Celia glanced up at Ethan, seeking reassurance, before turning her gaze back to the human. I'm not sure," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's just something I know how to do." Another colonist stepped forward, his brow furrowed with curiosity. "And those aliens, they were chasing you, weren't they? What did you do to make them so angry?" Celia felt her heart race as the memories of her harrowing escape flooded back. I didn't do anything," she stammered, her fingers clutching tightly to Ethan's shirt. "They were after me, but I don't know why." Sensing Celia's distress, Ethan quickly intervened. "That doesn't matter now," he said, his voice firm but reassuring. "She's safe, and that's what's important." The colonists exchanged glances, their expressions darkening with concern. "But if those aliens are still out there, they could come back. We need to be prepared." Ethan nodded, his grip on Celia tightening ever so slightly. "Then we'll be ready," he said, his gaze sweeping across the assembled group. "We'll defend our home, and we'll protect Celia." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, and Celia felt a surge of gratitude towards these remarkable beings. They had every reason to turn her away, to view her as a threat, yet they were willing to risk their own safety to shield her from harm. As the colonists dispersed to begin their preparations, Ethan gently cradled Celia in his hands, his eyes filled with a mix of concern and determination. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice soft and low. Celia nodded, her own eyes reflecting a newfound sense of resolve. "I am now," she replied, her tiny fingers reaching out to touch Ethan's callous skin. "Thank you, Ethan, for everything." Ethan offered her a warm smile, his thumb gently brushing against her delicate frame. "I told you, Celia, you're not alone anymore. We're in this together." Celia felt a surge of emotion, her heart swelling with a sense of belonging she had never experienced before. These giants, these humans, had not only accepted her, but had rallied to defend her, risking their own lives to protect a being they barely knew. As the colony bustled with activity, Celia watched in awe, her mind racing with questions and observations. She had come to this world expecting to find only danger and hostility, but instead, she had discovered a species that possessed a depth of character and resilience that defied all her preconceptions. And now, as she stood beside Ethan, the young human boy who had become her steadfast ally and protector, Celia knew that her fate had taken an unexpected turn. No longer was she a fugitive, fleeing from her pursuers. Instead, she was a part of something greater, a community that had welcomed her with open arms, despite the risks involved. Celia's gaze swept across the bustling colony, her eyes reflecting a newfound determination. If these humans were willing to fight for her, then she would fight alongside them, using her advanced knowledge and abilities to aid in the defense of their home. "I'll help," Celia said, her voice steadfast and resolute. "I'll do whatever I can to protect this place and the people in it." Ethan's eyes widened, and a proud smile spread across his face. "I knew you would, Celia. Together, we'll show those aliens that they picked the wrong colony to mess with." Celia felt a surge of confidence, her tiny frame filling with a newfound sense of purpose. She may have come to this world in fear, but now she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, her human companions at her side. As the colony mobilized to prepare for the impending alien attack, Celia found herself at the center of the frantic activity, her advanced knowledge becoming an invaluable asset to the human defenders. Ethan remained by her side, acting as a bridge between the diminutive alien girl and the towering colonists. Celia would excitedly describe the intricacies of her people's technology, her tiny fingers tracing elaborate diagrams in the dirt, while Ethan would translate her explanations in a way the others could understand. The humans, initially wary of this strange, diminutive being, quickly came to appreciate Celia's contributions. Her insights on the invaders' weaponry and tactics proved crucial in developing effective countermeasures, and her ability to manipulate the shimmering energy field provided a much-needed defensive advantage. "If we can harness the power of your force field and integrate it with our own defensive systems, we might be able to create an impenetrable barrier around the colony," one of the chief engineers explained, his eyes alight with excitement. Celia nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Yes, I think that could work. But we'll need to be precise in our calculations to ensure the energy field is strong enough to withstand the invaders' firepower." Ethan watched in awe as Celia and the human engineers worked together, their collaboration fueled by a shared sense of purpose. Gone was the timid, fearful creature he had first encountered. In her place stood a confident, determined ally, fully committed to the defense of her newfound home. As the final preparations were made, Celia found herself standing alongside the human colonists, her diminutive form a stark contrast to the towering figures around her. Yet in that moment, she felt a sense of belonging, a kinship with these remarkable beings that had once inspired such trepidation. When the invaders finally arrived, their massive ships blotting out the sky, the colonists braced themselves for the onslaught. Celia, her tiny hands outstretched, summoned the shimmering energy field, enveloping the settlement in a protective barrier. The alien invaders unleashed a barrage of devastating firepower, their weapons pounding relentlessly against the energy field. Celia gritted her teeth, her body trembling with the strain of maintaining the barrier, but she refused to falter. Ethan, his eyes filled with concern, hovered nearby, ready to lend his support should Celia's strength begin to wane. "You can do this, Celia," he shouted, his voice carrying over the din of the battle. "We believe in you." Celia felt a surge of determination at Ethan's words, and she poured even more of her energy into the field, her tiny frame glowing with a brilliant light. The barrier held firm, withstanding the invaders' onslaught with unwavering resilience. Seeing that their initial assault had failed, the alien invaders shifted their tactics, unleashing a series of devastating energy blasts aimed at the colony's critical infrastructure. Celia watched in horror as the structures began to crumble, her concentration wavering as she saw the devastation unfolding around her. Ethan, sensing Celia's distress, quickly sprang into action. "Everyone, focus your fire on the enemy vessels." he commanded, his voice ringing with authority. "We need to take them down before they can do any more damage." The human colonists responded instantly, their weapons blazing as they targeted the invader ships. Celia, her attention divided, struggled to maintain the energy field, her tiny form trembling with the effort. Just as the barriers began to falter, Celia felt a surge of energy coursing through the field, reinforcing her waning strength. Glancing up, she saw Ethan, his hands outstretched, channeling his own life force into the shimmering barrier. "Celia, hold on," Ethan cried, his face etched with determination. "We're in this together." Celia felt a surge of gratitude and admiration for the human boy, and with renewed vigor, she poured the last of her energy into the field, merging her power with Ethan's to create an impenetrable fortress. The invaders' assault faltered, their weapons proving ineffective against the strengthened barrier. Seizing the opportunity, the human colonists unleashed a devastating counterattack, their barrage of fire crippling the alien vessels one by one. As the last of the invaders retreated, a deafening cheer rose up from the colonists. Celia, her strength spent, collapsed into Ethan's waiting hands, a triumphant smile spreading across her delicate features. "We did it," she whispered, her eyes shining with pride. "Together, we drove them away." Ethan nodded, his own face beaming with joy. "That's right, Celia. We're in this together, no matter what." In that moment, Celia knew that her place was here, among these remarkable giants who had welcomed her with open arms and fought alongside her as true allies. Years passed, and Celia's integration into the human colony had become complete. What had once been a tentative alliance had blossomed into a deep and abiding bond, with a diminutive alien girl now a respected leader and trusted confidant among the colonists. Ethan, the young boy who had first discovered Celia in the wreckage of her crashed spacecraft, had grown into a strapping young man, his once youthful features now etched with the wisdom and experience of adulthood. But his unwavering devotion to Celia remained steadfast, the two sharing an unbreakable connection that transcended the boundaries of species and age. As the colony continued to thrive and expand, Celia's contributions became increasingly invaluable. Her advanced technological knowledge allowed the humans to push the boundaries of their own capabilities, upgrading their defensive systems, enhancing their agricultural practices, and streamlining their infrastructure in ways that had once seemed impossible. The colonists, once wary of the strange, diminutive being in their midst, now looked upon Celia with a reverence usually reserved for their most esteemed elders. Her insights, her problem-solving abilities, and her tireless dedication to the betterment of the community had earned her a place of honor and respect among her human companions. Ethan, beaming with pride, often found himself acting as a spokesperson for Celia, translating her ideas and findings in a way that allowed the other colonists to fully grasp their significance. The two had become an inseparable team, their partnership forged in the crucible of battle and strengthened by the unbreakable bonds of trust and friendship. As the years passed, the threat of the alien invaders who had once pursued Celia faded, the colony's formidable defenses proving an effective deterrent against any would-be aggressors. The colonists, once driven by the necessity of survival, now found themselves focused on the pursuit of progress and innovation, their eyes turned towards the stars and the possibilities that lay beyond. Celia, her own curiosity piqued, immersed herself in these endeavors, her keen intellect and boundless imagination helping to shape the colony's vision for the future. She collaborated with the human engineers and scientists, contributing ideas and solutions that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. In the process, Celia had not only found a home among the humans, but had also become an integral part of their community, her diminutive form a testament to the power of collaboration, and the triumph of the human spirit. As the colony celebrated another year of prosperity and growth, Thalia stood beside Ethan, her gaze sweeping across the bustling settlement. The towering spires, the verdant fields, and the thriving population, all of it a testament to the resilience and determination of these remarkable beings she had once feared. Ethan, sensing her contemplative mood, placed a gentle hand near Thalia, his touch a comforting reminder of the bond they had forged over the years. You know, Thalia, I still remember the day I found you in the wreckage, scared and alone. But look at you now, you're a hero, a leader, and an integral part of this community. Celia felt a surge of emotion at his words, and she reached out to him, her tiny fingers brushing against his callous skin. And I remember the day you showed me that I had nothing to fear, Ethan. You and the others, you welcomed me with open arms and gave me a home. Ethan's expression softened, and he nodded thoughtfully. This colony, Celia, it's as much yours as it is ours. You helped build it, you helped defend it, and you've helped shape its future. You're one of us, Celia, always. Celia felt a warmth spreading through her chest, and she smiled up at the towering human, her eyes shining with a profound sense of gratitude and belonging. Thank you, Ethan, for everything. As the two stood side by side, gazing out at the thriving colony, Celia knew that her journey had been a remarkable one. From a fearful, vulnerable fugitive to a respected and beloved member of the human community, her transformation had been nothing short of extraordinary. And in that moment, Thalia knew that her place was here, among these giants who had become her family, her allies, and her protectors. Together, they would continue to forge a path towards a brighter future, their shared vision of progress and unity guiding them every step of the way. In the aftermath of the battle, the human colonists gathered around Celia, their faces alight with a mix of wonder, gratitude, and newfound respect. The diminutive alien girl, who had once trembled in their presence, now stood tall and proud, her heroic actions during the invasion cementing her place within the community. Ethan, his pride for his tiny friend almost palpable, gently cradled Celia in his calloused hands, his expression beaming with admiration. You are amazing, Celia, he said, his voice filled with awe. I've never seen anything like that before. Celia felt a surge of warmth at Ethan's words, her large eyes shining with a newfound confidence. I couldn't have done it without you, Ethan, she replied, her delicate fingers reaching out to touch his skin. You and the others, you all fought so bravely. The other colonists nodded in agreement, their own expressions reflecting a deep appreciation for Celia's actions. One of the older men, his weathered face creased with a smile, stepped forward and gently placed a hand near the diminutive alien girl. You saved us, Celia, he said, his voice gruff but sincere. We owe you a debt of gratitude that we can never fully repay. Celia felt a lump form in her throat as she listened to the human's words, her heart swelling with a sense of belonging she had never experienced before. These giants, these towering beings who had once inspired such fear, now looked upon her with genuine affection and respect. I'm just glad I could help, Celia replied, her voice barely above a whisper. I couldn't bear the thought of anything happening to this place, or to all of you. Ethan's grip tightened ever so slightly, and Celia could see the emotion reflected in his eyes. You're one of us now, Celia, he said, his voice low and sincere. You're part of this family, no matter what. Celia felt a surge of warmth at Ethan's words, and she reached out to him, her tiny fingers intertwining with his. In that moment, she knew that her initial fear and apprehension towards these giants had been completely unfounded. These humans, with their unwavering bravery and fierce loyalty, had become her allies, her protectors, and her family. As the colonists dispersed to begin the arduous task of repairing the damage caused by the invasion, Ethan remained by Celia's side, his gaze never wavering. "I'm so proud of you, Celia," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "You were incredible out there." Celia felt a warmth spread through her chest at his words, and she offered him a grateful smile. "I couldn't have done it without you, Ethan. You and the others, you all fought so bravely." Ethan shook his head, a chuckle escaping his lips. "We were just doing what needed to be done, Celia. But you were the one who really made the difference. Without your force field, we wouldn't have stood a chance." Celia felt a surge of pride at his words, but also a twinge of uncertainty. "But what if they come back?" she asked, her brow furrowed with concern. "I don't know if I can keep that up forever." Ethan's expression grew serious, and he gently placed Celia in the palm of his hand, bringing her closer to his face. "Then we'll be ready," he said, his voice filled with determination. "We'll work together, Celia, and we'll find a way to protect this place, no matter what." Celia felt a wave of relief wash over her, and she nodded, her trust in Ethan and the other colonists unwavering. "Okay," she replied, her own resolve stealing. "I'm with you, Ethan. We'll face whatever comes together." The young human boy smiled, his gaze filled with a fierce protectiveness that warmed Celia's heart. In that moment, she knew that she had found a true home among these remarkable beings, and that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would stand alongside them, united in their shared quest to defend their colony and their newfound family. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, Celia's integration into the human colony deepened. The initial wariness and uncertainty that had once characterized the colonists' interactions with the diminutive alien girl had been replaced by a genuine sense of kinship and trust. Ethan remained Celia's closest companion, the two forming an unbreakable bond that transcended the vast differences in their size and species. The young human boy delighted in sharing the wonders of his world with Celia, introducing her to new technologies, customs, and experiences that continually sparked her curiosity and wonder. In turn, Celia shared her own advanced knowledge, imparting insights and techniques that proved invaluable in the ongoing efforts to fortify the colony's defenses. The human engineers marveled at the scope of her technological prowess, eagerly incorporating her ideas into their own designs and innovations. "With Celia's help, we've been able to upgrade our energy shields and weapon systems tenfold," one of the chief technicians explained, his eyes alight with excitement. "We're better prepared than ever to fend off any future attacks." The other colonists, once wary of the tiny alien girl, now welcomed her as an integral member of their community. Celia found herself involved in a wide range of activities, from assisting in the cultivation of crops to providing technical support in the colony's central hub. As Celia immersed herself in the daily rhythms of human life, she marveled at the depth of their resilience and camaraderie. These giants, once feared as savage and uncaring, now demonstrated a remarkable level of cooperation, ingenuity, and compassion, qualities that Celia had come to greatly admire. One day, as Celia stood atop a towering spire, gazing out over the bustling colony, she was struck by a profound realization. This place, this human settlement, had become her home. The fear and trepidation that had once gripped her upon her arrival had been replaced by a sense of belonging and purpose. Ethan, sensing Celia's contemplative mood, approached her, his gentle footsteps alerting the diminutive alien girl to his presence. "What are you thinking about, Celia?" he asked, his voice soft and curious. Celia turned to face him, a warm smile spreading across her delicate features. "I was just taking it all in," she replied, her gaze sweeping across the sprawling colony. This place, these people, they've become my family, Ethan." Ethan's expression softened, and he nodded in understanding. "I'm glad to hear that, Celia," he said, his hand moving to gently cup the tiny alien girl. "You belong here with us." Celia felt a surge of emotion, and she reached out to Ethan, her fingers brushing against his callous skin. "I never thought I'd find a home like this, Ethan. But you and the others, you've all welcomed me with open arms." Ethan's grip tightened ever so slightly, and Celia could see the deep affection in his eyes. "Of course we have, Celia. You're part of this family now, no matter what." The two stood together in comfortable silence, each lost in their own thoughts. For Celia, this moment of reflection was a testament to the remarkable journey she had undertaken. A journey that had led her from a state of fear and uncertainty to one of unwavering purpose and belonging. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the colony, Cecilia turned to Ethan, her expression resolute. "I want to help," she said, her voice filled with determination. "I want to do whatever I can to protect this place and the people in it." Ethan nodded, a proud smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "I knew you would say that," he replied, his fingers gently caressing Celia's delicate frame. "And we're lucky to have you, Celia. Together, we're going to make this colony stronger than ever." Celia felt a surge of purpose, her tiny frame brimming with a newfound sense of resolve. She may have come to this world as a frightened, vulnerable being, but now she stood tall, ready to embrace her role as a defender and protector of the human colony she had come to call home. In the days and weeks that followed, Celia's contributions to the colony's development only continued to grow. Her advanced knowledge and technical skills were invaluable, and the humans eagerly sought her guidance and expertise, welcoming her as a respected leader and trusted ally. As the colony's infrastructure and defenses were strengthened, Celia found herself at the forefront of these efforts, her unwavering dedication and innovative spirit inspiring the humans around her. And in the depths of her heart, she knew that she had truly found her place in this remarkable world, forever intertwined with the destiny of the giants she had once feared.